I wanted to start by talking a little bit about Jamel Carruthers. How do you evaluate his performance last year? Because on the surface, it looked like he might have taken a little bit of a step back, but at the same time, everyone was kind of struggling with something, so that kind of puts that in a little bit of a context. Do you have specific things that you're looking from him in camp this year, or do you just kind of see how it goes?
Last year was, like you said, last year was a bad year for everybody. Um, but for Jamel, didn't have a great year as he had the previous year. Sometimes that happens. But we're just looking forward to this year. Kid's a good football player. He's a great runner. He has great instincts. He can get better pass blocking, but we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Just going to continue to do what we do and just practice and getting spring ball in will be a plus for us. So just hit the ground running. On Friday today, we got another practice and we're excited.
So sort of in a similar question about the offensive line. There's a lot that when you miss out on spring and fall that it might affect the offensive line as much as more than anyone. But then at the same time, there are things that if the quarterback has a responsibility to kind of get the play to call the right play, to get the play moving in the right direction based on how defenses are aligned and the blocking angles for the line. How much do those things do you think really kind of fed into that performance, and how much of a priority is it to address that this season?
Well, up front, it's always been a priority. We have to play better up front. With any offense, you got to be good up front. And that's something that last year was one of our many problems we had on offense. But again, we have great kids up there. Being able to practice this spring, it's a definite plus for us. The 2019 O-line was, probably one of the best O-lines that we've ever had here. They had a great leader in Ford Higgins. Last year, we were just a little young up front, a little inexperienced, and didn't have that kind of, we weren't self-starters up front. But again, last year was just wasn't a great year all around. Far as plays we're in, quarterback play and all that stuff came into play. We just have to strap down this spring, do a lot of hitting this spring, build our culture, build some toughness in our football team, and attack it that way. Then when fall come, go out and do it again and get ready for a tough schedule.
Thanks, Coach.
My pleasure.
Wags.
Hey, Ivan, what are you looking for out of Xavier this spring? What, as you go into it, what are you looking to do to develop him, improve him? What does he need to work on? Just talk a little bit about it. X, are we calling him X? Is he going by X?
I'm not just looking at Xavier. There's 4 guys there that are all good football players. They all deserve a shot. Xavier had reps last year. But again, this thing in spring is open. I know he's wanted at number 1, but it's not like it's a clear-cut deal. They all need to get better this spring, as far as running the offense, making good decisions, being effective throwers. Obviously, we got to do a lot better job running the football as at QB position. He's definitely a really, really good runner. So I'm just looking for overall development, like it always has been. Playing tough, playing smart, getting us in the right play, making great decisions, and again, just not going out and losing the game for us. It all starts now.
Can you tell us a little bit more, like maybe scouting report about some of the other guys that none of us have ever seen? A Jade Numbarger, a Ty Lavatai, some of the other fellows that are on the.
Ty's a kid from Florida. Played at our prep school as a quarterback up there. Had a really solid season up there. Beat Maps in a very, very good football game. He's a good player. He's a big kid. He can be as big as he wants, but we're trying to get him down to 215, 210. But very, very light on his feet, very athletic. He throws the football extremely well, all-around complete player. And we're excited about him. Good option in mechanics right now. Just got to obviously get some live reps, see how it truly executes the offense. But again, the materials are there for him to be a good player. Just got to put them all together. Jay Numberg was at Naps also with Ty. Didn't play much. He had a knee injury, but the thing with Jaden, the tough thing is that he hasn't played football since his senior year of high school. He didn't play much at Naps, got hurt early, missed a whole year at Naps. So yesterday, Friday was his first time actually getting back on the football field, and getting some reps. So again, it's something that he has all the tools as well, runs really well. Very, very tough kid. Really, really smart. He's like 4.0 student. So that definitely helps on the football field as far as, being smart. And not Ty, but Masai, the kid who's been here. We were very high on Masai going into last spring. Obviously, we didn't have last spring, so that kind of set things back. But he has shown a lot of progress. This spring, as far as mentally. Again, throws the football extremely well. I mean, I think him and Ty Price the best arms since Ricky Dobbs as far as throwing the football. So I'm excited about all these guys. They're all doing great things. But again, we haven't played any football yet. We haven't gone against our defense yet. We all look good in shorts. Running around in shorts, everybody looks good. So it's just a matter of getting in the pads and hitting each other and tackling and seeing how guys play.
I think Masai got in at the end of the Air Force game. I can't remember how much
Yes,
he played in any other games, but I'm guessing he got some reps with the starters during practice. I mean, did you feel like Masai developed a little bit last season?
He developed some last year. Air Force Day, he did get in, took us down the field, then got down there and threw an interception. But Masai's been up and down, and we've talked about that, me and him. He understands, but he's in a much better place right now. Academically, he was having some issues, but he's got that taken care of. He has a lot clearer mind now. He's more vocal in the meetings. He talks more. He's more confident, and it's showing in practice. It's showing on his test, and when he talks in the meeting for us answering questions. So he's a completely different kid, and I'm hoping that all that shows this spring.
And last for me for now, I mean, I know you can't name names, but are there kids coming from the prep school, the quarterbacks that could be possibly in the mix, or is that not likely?
Not likely. We got 4 kids again that I think are really good football players. Got to get these guys ready to go now because somebody coming in the fall, it can definitely. I'm never gonna say never, but just trying to focus on getting these 4 guys ready to play.
Phil Bergman.
Hey, Coach. We talked to Chance earlier today. What do you want to see out of him as both a player and a leader this spring?
Just we got to make plays at that position. At A-back, definitely be really, really good runs with the football in our hand, make plays and the ball's in the air, go and attack it. And Chance has done that over his career. Just want him to be a really, really good leader. Chance is very, very fiery. The kid is very, very vocal, and sometimes his leadership, it can come out the wrong way. So he has to have to be careful about how he nurtures the young guys and how he leads them. Just in the way he attacks his leadership, so to speak. But he's doing a great job. Love the kid to death. The kid has a lot of energy. Love his passion for the game. Again, if we had 11 of those guys, him and 4 to me were just truly, truly self-starters. They always came out there the same exact way every single day. They love to practice. So hopefully we can bring everybody else along with those guys with the same kind of attitudes.
We heard Tigers switching positions. Are there any other guys that you are looking at different positions this spring?
No, I think everybody's in the right place right now, and we're just going to go out there for these 15 days, man, and get after it.
And then lastly, Peter Nestrowitz, what's your message to NFL teams on why they should consider taking a chance on him?
The kid's a good football player, plain and simple. I know in our offense sometimes it's hard to see, but he's a very, very, very talented kid, very athletic kid, very strong kid, and he loves to play the football game. So all those ingredients makes for a good football player, and I think give the kid a shot, they won't be disappointed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane Roberts.
Hi there, Coach. Spring ball this year, you didn't have it last year. How does it feel? What do you see from the guys? And how do you think things are going to progress and change given everything is starting to get back to normal?
Hopefully, we become a better football team than we were last year. It was exciting for those guys. Friday, we started practice at 4:00, and I looked out there at 3:30. I think the whole football team was already out there. They were just eager to get out there and practice, just want to get out there. It was very, very up-tempo practice. They flew around. They had fun. The guys just very, very vocal. Just getting on the football field is huge. Loving this game, loving to play the game. All these guys have that passion to play. So just seeing them getting out there and being able to practice is a definite first major step. Now we got to start building our football team. And the way we're going to do that is going against each other. We have to hit this spring. That's one thing that we're not going to shy away from. Our QBs are all live until somebody comes to the top. We're going to tackle everybody. We're going to block everybody. Everybody's live. We got to build this football team and get back to where we used to be. And again, not being able to hit last year definitely set us back, but we're going to move forward. I'm excited to get back out there and coach, run around on the grass, chase guys around and play some football and coach some ball.
You answered my second question already, Coach. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
All right, I'll make one more trip around. Mike James.
I guess you kind of addressed this, but when you miss a season of spring practice, are there things that you feel like you have to kind of go back and readdress or emphasize a little bit more to kind of establish things on a fundamental level, or is it kind of business as usual?
No, fundamentals are always important. That's first and foremost from day one, fundamentals. But really, just being able to get out there and just being able to run our offense and tackle and have to block people and to get those live contact reps in. Repetition is the key. The reps are the key for our guys to get better as football players. For the QBs to see, live stunts, blitzes, and coverages, and playing full speed. That all comes into play. Just being able to get back out there, it's been really huge for us.
Anything else, Mike?
No, thanks, Coach.
Wags.
Well, you mentioned about Chance Warren. He's the most visible, most experienced slot back. Obviously, Carlinos AC was part of the rotation, but a lot of the other fellows are younger guys with little to no experience. What's your take on the slot back position beyond Chance and Carlinos, Coach?
We have solid football players. It's always been a really good position for us. Always been a very talented position. Probably not as fast as we have been, but we have really good football players there. Daniel Jones is probably the kid you need to look for. Really, really fast kid, can really run, very talented kid, strong kid. Again, just a kid that loves to play the game. It's always good to see people that love to practice every day. He comes the same every single day, smile on his face. The kid, every single rep is full speed. So I'm excited to see him get out there and get the ball in his hand and see what he can do with that speed of his.
What do you feel is the mindset of the players based off last season as you come into spring camp? It's a new beginning. This is the start of the 2021 season. What would you say is the mindset of the players about, turning things around?
I think guys are in attack mode. I say that because not having spring ball last year, we kind of see how that turned out very negative for us. Not being able to have experience in different positions and get reps was big for us. So I think now that we have that, we have opportunities to have in-person meetings. Like Scott just said, guys are in attack mode. Guys are ready to go every day. They're bringing it. They're locked in more than I've ever seen while I was here. So I'm excited.
Well, and kind of maybe talk about that from an offensive standpoint, because the defense had, encouraging things happen at the end of the year that they can kind of hang their hat on and say, we got it turned around at the end and we played great defense, but it never happened for the offense. And the numbers as related to past Navy offenses just were not good. Tell me your offensive mentality and what some of the guys on offense are saying, you got to get back to being Navy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, defense was a bright spot for us. A lot of times towards the end of the season, offensively, we know that we've got to pick it up on our end. I think it all started with not having confidence, and belief in different positions, different rooms, different mindsets were kind of clashing at times. But I think now, everybody's bought in. Everybody understands their role. Everybody understands that what it's going to take to be a Navy offense is that we always got to buy in to what the coaches are saying, to whoever is at whatever position. We have had to have full confidence in them and their ability to execute at all times.
Well, this is not an uncommon. 2 years ago, when Malcolm was a senior, they had to bounce back from a disappointing offensive season the year before. So it can be done, and Navy has proven it can turn things around and have a prolific offense a year after having some struggles. Does that kind of give you some confidence that that what happened last year won't perpetuate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think being a part of both those teams, being part of the 2019 team who struggled a lot, and then being a part of the 2020 season, Malcolm had an amazing year. We won 11-2. I think being part of both those teams and seeing, how senior leadership, was acted in, year in and year out, gives us as seniors, a lot of stuff to fall back on to see like kind of what we need to do, what we don't need to do. But I think at the same time, it gives us, like you said, like a hope and, to understand that, hey, it can be done and it has been done. We just got to stick to our script, stick to what works for us and just attack it each and every day.
And last from me, before I turn it over to someone else, I mean, is there anything you can pinpoint, or perhaps the coaches have talked about in meetings leading up to the spring that has to change for the offense? I mean, when they go back and look at last season and what went wrong, are there some things that are points of emphasis that if Navy's going to be Navy, we've got to do better?
Yeah, I think from my vantage point, I think belief, is really key for us. It's hard to, at least for me, it was hard to buy into certain things when we hadn't seen them, done, hadn't seen it executed live. It's kind of hard to get your footing when you go out there, you play BYU, a really good team, first game of the season, and you hadn't executed things at full speed. So I think now with having that, starting now, having that spring ball, having summer, and being able to execute stuff full speed, believing in what you're doing, believing in the product you're putting on the field, I think it's going to help us a lot in a lot of different areas offensively.
Phil Bergman.
Hey, Chance, earlier you said everyone understands their role on the team. What would you consider your role to be this year?
Great question. I would like to believe that, my role offensively is, is to be a leader, vocally, if not, both physically as well. Especially the A-back group, as one of the older guys, in the group, I feel like it's my job to lead that group. And having played 2 seasons prior to this, knowing, what kind of to expect on game days and what not to expect, just kind of molding those younger guys into knowing, hey, this is what we do. This is our routine. This is how we get after it. So yeah, that's what I would say my role is right now.
Diego talked to us last week about how all seniors are trying to be leaders, even if you're not designated a captain. Could you just go into a little detail about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coach Nehemiah said the other day best, this is a school full of leaders. Any guy on this team can go to another school and lead, be a guy that's looked at by the younger guys on the team. So for our senior class, we want to emphasize that, hey, it's going to be 4 captains at the end of the day, but that doesn't matter. When you see something that's not right, when you see something that a captain's doing that isn't our standard, call them out on it, voice what needs to be, said. And I think just having that amount of accountability was really going to help us to know that you're not above any standard just because you're a captain, or you're not above doing the extra because who you are as a person.
Just wondering, you touched on it a little bit, but what is it like to, be back in spring ball and actually physically practicing with your teammates? And how do you think that's going to change how you go about your business this season?
Absolutely. I think it's huge for us, being around guys physically, not like this on a Zoom call, right? But being around the guys physically and, being able to learn with them, sitting next to you and ask questions and, bounce questions and ideas off each other in the meeting room. It's just so much different than doing it virtually, right? I think for us, the biggest thing is that we weren't able to do that. Last season, we weren't able to get around each other and, and be in those environments. Now we can learn from each other, like I was saying, and even in practice, you can see somebody do something physically wrong and call them, or you can see somebody do something physically right and say, okay, that's what I need to model it after. When you don't have those opportunities, you can't really change how your game is, deteriorating or, improving. You can't really make any adjustments on the fly because you haven't seen that. I think that's going to be big for us going into this upcoming season, having time to learn and grow.
In-person classes have started, spring practice has started. These are milestones in the 2021 season. What is the next milestone you want to see, and how will these things help prepare you for the fall?
Right. Absolutely, like you said, these are milestones, and it's something the crazy thing about it, that's something that's so normal. In-person classes in spring ball are milestones nowadays, but they are. I think the next milestone that, we would like to see as a school, as a team, is just getting back to a little more freedom, right? It's hard being cooped up in this room, 7 days a week. Right now, football is our outlet. Football is our opportunity to be around our friends, be around our buddies, kind of let off some steam from the week prior. But I think once we get back to a little more normalcy, people start getting vaccinated, come around a few weeks from now. I think once we get back to that, we'll really be back in the swing of things, and it'll start to feel like normal again.
Well, looking at the depth chart, Chance, you obviously are the most known commodity Carlinos AC was part of the rotation last year, so obviously we know a little bit of him. But beyond you all, there's a lot of unknowns. Daniel Jones, Colby Jakes. I think Daniel Taylor is a converted D-back. Tiger, obviously, converted cornerback. Can you talk about the, slot back is always a position of depth for Navy, but it looks as though you're rebuilding that depth a bit.
Yeah, right. There are some new guys in the room, some new faces, some new names on paper, right? But these guys aren't new to our program. These guys aren't new to what we expect. At one point in time, Chance Warren was at the bottom of that list and was somebody that not many people knew. And all it took was, just trusting the coaching staff, trusting the quarterback, Malcolm, to put me in a good position to make a play. And that's what, we're going to expect of these guys too, who aren't really, who are making their rise to the scene. It's just knowing their playbook. Xavier's going to give them the best play, going to get the ball in the best opportunity, and these guys are going to execute. I have full faith in, everybody on the A-back depth chart to make a play when their name's called.
And I know you've only had one light practice, but or maybe two. I don't know if you practiced Saturday, but Tiger, does it look like Tiger is could be a good slot back?
Absolutely. Tiger is a phenomenal worker. Tiger is somebody that I work out next to, we're doing sprints, conditions, stuff like that. He's somebody that I like to chase, compete with when it comes to that stuff. So Tiger is a phenomenal worker. Just from the one light day we've had, he is up to par with, everybody else that's popping up on film. He's doing everything right. He knows the playbook in and out because he played quarterback. So it's not a question there. I think the biggest thing that Tiger has to work on is just, being comfortable with the footwork, being comfortable with the mechanics of the position. And once he gets that down, then he's going to be rolling along right with the rest of us.
Phil Bergman.
Yeah, just what impresses you most about Xavier out on the field?
I think what impresses me most about Xavier is, his willingness to lead. I think it's hard, as a freshman, sophomore quarterback, to want to be vocal, especially in in an environment like this. When you're kind of a younger guy in the school, you're told, hey, don't talk much. You're speak when spoken to. But when he gets out on the field, when he gets in that environment, he's a really good leader. He'll admit when he's wrong. He'll take praise when he's right, but he won't gloat about it. He won't boast about it. So I'm really impressed with that. I'm really impressed with the first day of practice we've had so far and how he executed things. So yeah, I'm excited for Xavier's season this year.